Welcome to another episode of Modern Black Man Podcast. I'm joined by the beautiful Miss Siren. Siren, welcome.
Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I just, I want to keep it to the basics, simple. Just talk about a couple topics this week. Nothing too deep. The first one I want to talk about, and this is going to be a good one, is are men creeps? Best question I could ask, because I'm a man and I would not identify as a creep first, but the way things have evolved, it seems like it's easier as a man now to be in uncomfortable situations. And as men, I think we're more comfortable talking about this too much with other guys because we need to have a pragmatic approach to women. And we don't have that. That's why there's such a vast spectrum right now, I think. And you're the perfect person to have this conversation with because I would love to hear your feedback. What are your thoughts?
I don't think all men are creeps necessarily. I think men, you have your group of creepers. I think men are very pussy fixated. And like me and my friends are talking, yes, I think men are like very like
either way. I mean,
like y'all do think with y'all minds, but y'all dick does think first. I was talking to my friends earlier, and we were talking about how like you could have a conversation with the guy. He's like, "Oh, she's talking to me. She's interested." Like, no, where did you get that from? Like, or like the guy, like, or some guys like, and it's not all. Like, I've had some good experience with guys who I genuinely think aren't necessarily creeps, but it's like sometimes men do. It's entitlement sometimes. I don't even want to call it being creepy. It's entitlement.
We're creeps. You can't say that men
I try to be respectful.
You can't say that men are or aren't creeps without conceding that men are creeps. So, okay, some men are creeps. To not be a creep, I try to have positive, open communication with all women because I don't want women to be misled by my actions, my words, or anything that I do. For my personal sake, I want to enjoy the moments I have with my partner. And to do that, you got to have next level honesty, open communication. And it's, it is what it is. If there's a way around it, I think that that's more like what our fathers did, where, everybody had this independent life. And I don't want to live my life like that, especially in 2022, because of all the things we're talking about.
That's true. I mean, I don't want to be mean to the men because people always call me a man hater, and I'm not a man hater. It's just like I said, I don't
think you're not a man hater. I don't think anyone.
I don't think so either.
Say that about you because of how we're talking about things right now. It's not about sexuality at this point. It's a political conversation about what we do as people. This is a sociology experiment that we've conducted for however long we've lived, and men are creeps. Not all men and not all the time, but it's in us. The lust that men have from the gateway that I always preach about, your eyes. What we see affects our heart. And unfortunately, not all of us have the purity of heart to either avert our eyes, avoid, and not heed all of our temptation. I, as a man, concede these things, and I'm proud of me because I don't think that I wild out. I think that monogamy is awesome. In the past couple of years, in a monogamous relationship, have been rewarding, and I want to continue that path. But you got to do what you want to do and what you got to do.
This is true. Like I said, I hate to use the creep term. I feel like it's because, again, and I feel like everyone would say this. We live in a patriarchal society. It hasn't been challenged yet, and a lot of men, like I say, I feel like they feel entitled to women. Mm-hmm. They feel like they have to have, I'm demanded access. You're a woman. You're supposed to give me access to you.
Is that a definition of a creep? I think that's fair. As a woman,
yeah, that's creep. I hate to use the label creep, but yeah, I feel like, again, I can't really necessarily nag at the men because this is a society we have lived in and it has not been challenged. I think it's getting challenged more so now, but we still have a lot of stragglers, or a lot of men who like are
Strike.
not, yeah, or a lot of men who are decent good men and not being creeps per se, but they're not holding their homeboys, their brothers, their fathers, their uncles, cousins, whoever. They're not holding them accountable, and we need that.
Do you think? I think it's generational, and it's also innate in people. There's going to be cheaters no matter what generation or culture you come from, right? But the way that it was accepted previously is very different now. And I think that the way people snitch and tell is so different now, and it's not productive.
We're talking about cheating in general. We're talking about cheating.
Yeah, cheating in general. Like, I don't think people, that's pretty sad to aid in society. You don't have to do that. Like, you ain't got to out your homie, but you don't have to necessarily enable the behavior or ignore it.
Yeah, you should still hold. I wouldn't out anybody per se, because I've always felt like, I don't want to say it's not good to give people a warning. However, at the same time, that could be a sticky situation to get yourself into with a couple. Also, too, again, accountability is a good thing to have. Hey, bro, like, if you want to be out here in the streets doing what you want to do, be single. Why you playing old girl? Or things like that. Like, people, because cheating is
it's the worst. There's no point in your relationship when you cheat. Cheating is a way to dissolve a relationship. I really, really feel it's a nuclear option. Like, divorce is a nuclear option for marriage. Cheating gives grounds for divorce. So ultimately, they're one and the same. Responsibility dictates that you prevent, that kind of violation. It's just not kind to people. The soul ties. I think that there's so many points that we.
Believe in soul ties.
I believe in soul ties. You don't believe in soul ties?
I'm gonna tell you. So I used to believe in soul ties. What made me stop believing them is that the rhetoric in the term is usually only thrown at women. I notice, and I think it's used to control women's sexuality, and that's why I understand the concept of it. And I do, and sex can be a very connecting activity, yes, indeed. But I when I hear it, and I'm like thinking in the past of when I learned about it and things like that, it was always a term thrown at me as a woman, and it was always, something that, like, now looking back, like, okay, like, yeah, that's definitely like what's controlling. Because I mean, I definitely have had hookups and I had no soul ties.
I don't believe in slut shaming anymore because of all that, though. Like, words have power, and you're right. There's a slant that's against women, but that is not my fault, and it is true.
It's society. It's our mixed society. Our society, on one end, sex is taboo, but on the other end, sex sells and sex is popular. It's just that I feel like we have a miseducation of sexual activity overall. I think in this new day and age, we do have like more people who are educated and are willing to challenge those ideas. Because I mean, soul ties is just the same thing as virginity. I believe virginity is a social construct, and it is a social construct, actually, because there is no proven medical book that addresses it.
I think let's go. On soul ties, I have to admit it was a whore that got me aware of it. Because I had never disrespected a woman, but I understand how these patriarchal thoughts are wrought throughout our ethics, and the disobedience of the woman. Our response is punitive, and I get that, but I felt that right for the first time, where I really saw how it's just a violation. It's a social flaw, and we don't really have recourse for that. Think about it. We don't have a morals police. We don't have a church society that can get retribution when a spouse cheats. That's not a flaw in religion. That's just where we are in society. With that being said, people cheat, and we hold the woman accountable for the morals.
Yeah.
And I think that is somewhat unfair, but men that have morals have to conduct themselves with said morals.
And that's everybody. Everybody should conduct themselves for code. Cheating for me is always a difficult conversation, simply because I think one thing I don't like about our society, and especially having like cheating scandals publicized and things like that. Everyone is thinking that, okay, well, say, first instance of cheating or whatever, oh, you should be leaving him or her. Like, that's not how everybody's relationship works, and I don't like that expectation because some people, again, cheating is different for everybody. How people deal with their relationship and emotions is different. We can't. There's no set standard on how you're gonna run your relationship, regardless of how you agree with how you do.
That's the scary part of a relationship for me, though, is that you're vulnerable to that. You think that nobody will ever cheat, but anybody that's in there and worked it out in their marriage can tell us all about that journey. And that scares me. I don't ever want to have to go down that path or take that journey.
Oh, geez, if I was me and my mom lived together, or my mom went through a relationship with cheating, and she stayed and it worked out. So,
it disturbs me when a woman says something like it's just sex, because I think that's an assault on morality, especially in a marriage. I think that's her pointing at the fact that she is transactional, or she views her body as transactional.
Well, I mean, let me put it like this. I agree in all forms of relationships, monogamy, non-monogamy, whatever, you can have cheating. I think like I said, everybody's relationship runs differently, has different rules and different boundaries. So for somebody like me, for example, really wouldn't be cheating if I was in a relationship, because that's not a boundary for me. You can do it. You can kind of have free range with that. Just protect yourself and don't bring home no STDs, no babies, because you bring home a baby, you're on your own. Have fun.
Williams, you like Williams? As soon as he brought a baby home to her, she said she was done. You could cheat, you could do, but
oh no,
hey,
I'm saying my liberal rules, that's not going to be cheating for me if we have a pre-discussion on, okay, if you want to go and have a play partner or whatever, that's fine. Just don't bring no babies home. I mean, I'll surprise you. I mean, I'll support you in your boo thing with y'all baby, but y'all on your own. I babysit baby a few times.
But so you like that, huh?
I haven't been in a situation, but I mean, again, my dating habits and relationship expectations have changed, and that's something that does not bother me per se, because it can be that, especially for the lifestyle that I live and things I'm into. Yeah, if I had a partner and they were open and we were open and they wanted to go have fun with somebody, as long as you're being safe and protecting yourself and being ethical with me and that person, it's not gonna really bother me.
I think that's so evolved. I just want my woman to be jealous of me and not want to share me, to possess me and do all those toxic and unhealthy things.
And I don't think not necessarily wanting to have a close relationship is toxic. It's just how you go about it. And it's about opening your mouth, because I mean, jealousy is a natural human emotion. It's just, again.
Are you free too, though, in your boundaries in your relationship? Are you able to play as well? Do you play outside of your relationship?
I bet yes. I don't. That's a requirement for me. I know, like, I haven't been in a relationship in a hot second. But I know, like, even dating now, I like let people. I try to like let the boundaries be like known, especially because our generation. I noticed with my generation, dating is a lot different. Dating is not dating anymore. Some people take dating or talking stage as you are in a relationship, and I don't like that. So I try to lay those laws down real quick. Like, we are dating. You have.
Clip from a recent dating experience from Viral Uncensored. I'm gonna play this. This is the clip.
Hi, Pressigo.
All right. You see, I'm technically advanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no confirmation numbers. Ain't no confirmation numbers. I can't buy your own ticket. So bad. You want to cheese?
Nigga, what's up? Because you can't get no coochie.
I'm saying you gotta go. Hey, all right. Buy your own ticket.
Lame nigga, because you ain't getting no coochie.
Get out.
Nigga,
Get out my car.
whatever.
Get out my car.
Just make sure you give me my fucking confirmation number.
What? Ain't no confirmation.
You ain't got no confirmation number, chick.
Ooh, this makes me so many reasons.
Tell me about it. Let's talk about it.
So I
So
have a lot of layered opinions. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
no, you good.
So I have many opinions on flued out situations. Number one, as a woman, especially if this is the first time I'm meeting up with the guy, it gives me Ted Bundy vibes. You are not flying me out nowhere. You can fly here, get your own damn hotel, and go out, and we can go on a date. That's my thing. Number two, you never, ever, 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 ever go out of town without your own money and your own way to get around and get back home. I shouldn't be asking for that. Second of all, I do have an issue with these men and the men who defend this behavior. It is rape. It's rape behavior. It is wrong. I'm not entitled to give you no ass just because I came out here. That's disgusting.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm not trying to represent all men. I'm not going to put all men on my back. And I don't assume that there are men out there like me. But I'm going to say this. You know what it is a lot of times. And it should be understood. And I have, I guess, 100% from the field because I would be upset. I would be upset. I would finesse it. I would finesse it.
Out getting no cheeks. He don't get no pussy at all on a regular basis. I'm sorry. That's the vibe. Plus again,
I'm not attacking this young man. He didn't get the cheeks. He didn't finesse the cheeks. He didn't smell the cheeks, taste the cheeks, feel none of that. None of it happened.
The issue with this, especially for somebody who's done sex with, you're a trick. You're a trick, and with tricking comes experience, and he got played. Now I can't say to speak for her whole situation, so that's on them. It's women out there selling for you $40. Why are you flying out and paying all this damn money? You're the idiot.
Plus, I ain't with them. I wanted you because you could do this and that. You I didn't see
what if we never talked about that, and I get out there and you expect it? Plus, on top of that, here's my issue too, and that everybody needs to understand: man or woman, consent can be revoked at any time. So we could be laying down, booty and butt naked, and I can say no. That's just the way it is. He has that behavior to me is so immature.
I have had that happen to me as well, and that's something I want to talk about too. That's a real thing. It's a mature topic. What do you do mid-coitus if your partner changes her mind or decides is afraid? I know, right? I've had that happen to me a couple of times. It's a weird feeling. And you have to leave it to the woman. And I think that's where, for me, our perspective of her body, her choice really picks up, because I'll be honest, some of the things I worry about is like, what if she gets pregnant after an interaction like this? Again, it's never happened to me, but that's where my mind goes, you know?
That's understandable. But the flu thing and like men commenting like, oh, well, he should be entitled to the cheeks. It pushes for a worse and worse rape culture where, again, like I said, men feel entitled to women's bodies, and in reality, especially as somebody who's in sex positive communities, that is the law of the land. Consent can be
guarantee or secure the cheeks, because that's all men really care about. Like you and I agreed at the beginning of the show. Men, if we don't call them creeps, they're thinking with their dicks.
Yep.
And we know that they are, right? How unfair is it? And I'm not necessarily saying this for a woman to put herself in the sights of a horny ass man, a no cheeks getting ass. Come on now.
And we don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like that his reaction and how he's acting to not getting any bothers me, because number one, like I said, you to me are just and I've talked to older men about this, and they will literally say these young dudes are just stupid tricks. Like that's just basically it. They agree. But also part of it is, like I said, that rape culture, that you feel entitled. Like I said, even if she came out there for that and she changed her mind, then that's bad. You have to respect her in that decision. That's her body. It ain't yours. You're not entitled to it.
I agree with that very much. A woman is in charge all the time. But
same as if he say stop, you gotta stop. Like that's violating so many boundaries. And I feel like people don't understand like what sexual assault and rape can do to a person and do to their life and so on. Like, you know, we live in a culture where, yeah, we do have our little small group of liars, but we also have our women who have been through these situations, who are scared to stand up and speak, or are ones who have stuff and they're getting shamed by the world. Like, and this, again, like I said, it's just pushing for rape culture. Like, oh, well, this is okay. Like, I spend money on her. She better give me ass. Like, that's not how it works.
It's unfair. I'm saying that this is the way we think. And how do we unlearn these habits? Because I feel entitled to a woman like she's my property, as if I am purchasing her, as if she's real estate that can appreciate with the significance of my investment. And intellectually, I've been aware that this is not true. And I tried to divorce the two. But I think that it is factual that men feel this way about women, especially like the more oxytocin you release and the closer you feel to her. And like, bitch, I bought this house. You gonna listen to me, Pearl? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, as a man, providing is a precarious situation. I think it can make a lot of.
Provided a damn plane ticket, and he ain't.
Yeah, he's early. He's early in the game. So let's take it extended. What if you're married and the wife? I mean, you can't deny a man the cheeks if you're married because you're actually.
Can.
Okay, so you can. Okay.
You can. I mean, again, even his spouses can say no, because I mean, like, and that's been like something like I forgot what class I was in college where we talked about that. Like, yeah, rape is prevalent in marriages, which is wrong. And again, it's still wrong. Like, your partner is still a human being. Just because you're married, they're not property to you. They're still a person. They still have choices. They have feelings. They may not be in the fucking mood. And I'm like, that's what I don't like about this society. Like, these guys who like, I want traditions back. You just want somebody in the house who clean, fuck, and suck, and raise the kids. Like, there's more to women than just that. And time has.
Unfortunately, there's so much more to women than that. And women are better at so many things, but that's our primal instinct, our innate instinct. That's how we been, whatever. But in my experience, I've learned that if you can get those primal needs met, it's like Maslow in a relationship. You can evolve. Like, she might be an accountant, but once you find out she can suck it fucking clean, you can do some other shit with her. You might, you know what I mean? Like, is that patriarchal? Is that admitting influence of the patriarchy?
I won't say it's just holding on to crappy ass traditions. Cause it's like that's the video I just sent you. The guy, the toxic TikTok guy, trying to give people give men advice on
Elliot Holst.
Huh?
Not my guy, Elliot Holst.
I don't know. It's the guy who like was tripped out that the dude said he was like, "Why are these women not doing the standard household things?" And he's like, the guy said, "Bruh, because they tired." And the man had been married for 20 years. He's like, they tired. They working just like us and coming home. You don't get tired and not want to do dishes and stuff when you get home. And it was a very valid, and it was bad. And the guy was like, they're tired. Yeah. Now, like, that's why like I get tripped out with these traditions and these quote unquote gender roles. Like, oh yeah, the woman, she comes home from work, she cleans the house, she takes care of the kids. It's a two-part, it's a partnership to keep a house.
About the institution, it's probably imbalanced. It seems glorious to me as a man. It seems like the woman has to do everything, right? Like, that seems great. And I'm burdened with all her roles that she's not picking up because I do all the cooking in all the relationships. I have to make everybody feel good in all the relationships. I have to do the provide, and it's the of our gender roles.
And this is why they say, and research has proven that marriage benefits men more than it benefits women.
Women live that extra 5 years because their life.
That's because I don't like to go to the doctor. But see, that's why I'm gonna tell you why I personally feel, granted I haven't been married, but just watching and having married friends.
It's married women in the research. It's married women specifically. They live longer than unmarried women and married men. It's specific with married women. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. But still, the benefit thing I must say that's been said a lot of times is that marriage benefits men over women. But again, because you got, like, especially for men like with the health situation, we, even though unmarried, women still outlive men. But why? Because we are more apt to go take care of our health. I be watching my friend who married now. She be having to force her husband to go take care of stuff. He could be dying on his last leg, and man still will not go to the damn doctor.
It's the way we're built. It's social construct because other men look down on you. Is it called rape culture? Because other men will look down on you and admit weakness. Look at the NFL. All these guys are constantly hurt, but you can't really admit injury. The guys that do admit injury, everyone does, unfortunately, think that they're weak. They have weaknesses. And most of these guys can't play through them because these injuries are significant in the modern medicine that we have. If you can't get it off or whatever form of ball you play, you're fucked up. You're hurt. And the guys that have the big contracts, to get the max contracts, no better than to hurt themselves. I digress.
But see, that's why I'm like, and I feel bad for men because I feel like, again, even with this patriarchal society, we have created a society where men feel like to be men, they can't express hurt, they can't express sadness, they can't express themselves, and I feel really bad because that's not a healthy way to live. That's not life.
I think it's a personality trait, and men, I don't think most men are carved out for that. Hopefully she gets a chance to jump back on. I do have another video. Here she is coming back.
I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
It's all good. No, absolutely. To be clear, I think women are certainly superior to men. And I really think that in the new world moving forward, we can really work in I guess a more androgynous, I think we'll have a more androgynous culture. Because there's certain things that are loaded in the culture that probably were designed originally to benefit men that are the detriment of men. Because a lot of times that's what we succumb to as men, are our own indulgences. All men, all races, all cultures.
Always trying to be fucking strong, and I'm sick of it. It's just like negative therapy.
I agree. It's just not. No one's gonna admit that. No one needs to admit that.
They need to. I'm sick of it. Only because I had to deal with a personal situation with a man who I was with, and I'm just like, you need help.
Damn. I want somebody like that. Stay with him.
I'm sorry. You said what?
You didn't stay with him. He needed help, but you didn't stay.
I have tried to stay. I've tried to stay with him. He's taking a toll on my mental health. So it's either me or him.
Yeah, you gotta love you.
I'm about to say, and I can't help nobody who don't want to be helped. But I mean, all you can do is encourage people. But I mean, that's the culture we live. Unfortunately, we live in, that some men feel like, oh no, that's a weakness, or no, I'll be fine. I can just fight through it. But one thing I know I personally learned in therapy that caught up to me is that if you don't deal with life will eventually start dealing with you, and that is true.
I like that. I like that. I'm gonna play this second video here in a second, but to close out this first one, I think that we laid it out. Men are creeps. It doesn't apply to all men, but I think that that's just something that evolution isn't going to take care of anytime soon. And it could be our key to salvation and the key to helping and saving the world. All of masculinity might not be toxic. We've just embraced too many elements of it that are. I also wanted to talk about transracial adoption. I think that that's a very interesting topic. And what are your thoughts on transracial adoption? Do you think that a Black child should be housed with a white family?
Yes, reason I'm not against it is because what would we rather have happen, especially now with Roe v. Wade basically being tossed out in a lot of states? Do we want these children to age up in the system, or do we want them to have a chance at being in a healthy home? Yeah, the race might be different, but at the same time, at least they have people who might love and care for them and give them some kind of family dynamic instead of them being 18 and then being kicked out into society trying to figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I do get people's issues with it. At the same time, I feel like, again, like we were saying, healthcare, the benefit outweighs the risk.
I think that should be a no-brainer. I think most of us would agree with that. Having some kind of love, guidance, or family is better than having nothing. But there's people that really get up in arms and genuinely upset and do not like the thought of this. And I have to think it's history and insecurity.
I get the history part. Some of these people piss me off because I don't see none of they Black asses run to adopt no damn Black babies from the orphanage. But they got a whole bunch of shit to say about it.
I don't want no babies now. I'm just saying that no
Oh
one.
no, not you. I'm saying those people who are hardcore against it. I don't see any of them going to adopt these children.
No, I know. I was joking. I said I don't want any babies, but I don't want nobody to have them. People that don't want any. People that kill life. People that want to be on the right side but not doing the right things.
Yeah, I mean, because I understand from history. I do agree. I definitely understand from the perspective, but I also have seen, for example, my daughter actually has a friend who is a young Black girl who is adopted by white people.
Cool.
So, yeah. So I mean, I've been around it myself. Somebody else I know of who's an adult actually was raised by a white family. I've met a lot of people. So I mean, my only question is, hypothetically speaking, if those people never came to adopt them, what would have happened to those children?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
there are some things. I think one thing that we can do as a society is, there of course history, and yes, we all have our hangups. However, just support them. I know, like with my daughter's friend, like my mom did the girl's hair because the parents didn't know how to do the hair. Like, just be supportive. We can, help in whatever ways we can. Because like I said, to me personally, like I do understand everyone's hang up with it. But at the same time, my issue is also like we have seen what the system can do to children. So why not, why not say, hey, you know what? If this family wants to take them home, love them and raise them, why the hell not give them a chance at life, send them to college, whatever? Why not?
Right. Let them do it. I'm gonna play this video. I'm trying to get used to doing this.
But they were and are ill-equipped to deal with the issues that Black people face in this world. All the love and good intention will never prepare you or that child for the things that they'll have to go through being a Black person in a white environment. When they walk out that door, you will not be able to protect them from the violence that they're going to experience. Verbal abuse, physical abuse, being singled out in school, not being able to play with certain friends because you're Black. The first time I was called the N-word, I was 5 years old, and it doesn't stop there. The racist jokes that are told in your presence, and then you're assured that, you know what, we're not talking about you. There's a difference between Black people and N-words. And that's just the overt racism. The covert racism is even worse, because that comes from your close friends and even your family. The gaslighting, the denial, the I don't see color bullshit. I'm only speaking from my own personal experience, but feel free to go follow the hundreds of creators on this app that are of color who have been adopted by white families who have similar stories to mine. And for anyone who thinks that they're gonna come for me in my comment section, just remember, I've got your playbook, so I know how you all operate. I don't care what you think, because as a 52-year-old woman who has been tiptoeing around fragile white people, do not support white families adopting Black children.
All right.
Well, my reverse question to her is, has she went and adopted some Black kids? I'm not, and I don't want to invalidate her experience because her experience is valid, but some of these things also are like that she's complaining about did not happen in her home environment that she was raised in. I do agree that sometimes white people are not like equipped, especially back, and she's 50. I also want to add, she is 52 years old. We need to put that part in too.
1960.
So again, she was in a different time era from where we are now. Not saying that all white people are good, but like the saying that I used to be taught was all white people ain't against you, and all Black people ain't for you. So I do stick by that. Granted, I do have my ways with other races, but at the same time,
good stuff. There was a lot.
She does, but some of her experiences also happened out in the world, and our experiences that we all as Black people have still went through.
Right. And she's clearly crying out for someone to relate to. And I think that most people that are nurtured in a white environment would cling to the white people, not, have this position. So I respect it. And I just think that there's a lot of meat on that bone, and to take a bite out of some of the things that she said. Her experience was one where she feels that this adoption shouldn't happen. So clearly, I think that it's a bigger note to look at the abuses conducted under adoption as a whole. And, I think
but that has been done on both sides, and that's been done on both sides, Black or white. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said, for me personally, I can't agree that I don't support it at all, because again, what do I say? Would you rather, again, because even as a Black person in the world, you're going to eventually get hit with the unfairness, the N word, the rape. I mean, I've been through that. My daughter has been through it. Unfortunately, we've all experienced those things. However, no, I can't experience from the perspective of living in a white household. And I do agree there probably should be some education, some training for those parents who are taking on those Black kids. However, I still cannot agree that no, I'm just purely against it, because what other ill wills can I imagine for a child getting bounced from group home to group home and getting abused there? If there is a family out there who may be white or maybe Asian, maybe whatever, but can give this child a loving home. Because there are still success stories out there where, that worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then she said, I don't see color. And I think that is absolute BS. That's people trying to avoid. Yeah.
I don't agree with her, because she obviously sees color. I do want to talk, like I said, I don't want to validate her experience, but I do want to add, like I said, she's 52 years old. She did grow up in a different time period. I think now, with at least the newer generations, people are getting more educated and doing their own research. And we have more people who are hanging out, Black, white, Mexican, whatever. We are having more pools of people who are hanging out and crossing cultures and communicating. And we're learning new things about people. So times have changed since. Not all the way. We still have prejudice. We still have racism. That's still, there. But we do have more people who are a little bit more educated. That's why I say I really can't, I don't see color. But yeah, I mean, again.
What about the covert racism that she was talking about? To experience that in a white household has to be chilling, like Get Out or something. So she's got trauma against all people, because again, the last bite at the end of the video, she said, I know how you people operate and I have your playbook.
So she know. I mean, I can't, like I said, I can't.
Right,
I've never been raised around white people. I mean, I've had my experiences with, again, racism, but I've also, like I said, I've had good experiences where I've been not in a white, not living in a white household per se, but I know I grew up with a white friend and spent significant time around her house. And I mean, I never experienced covert racism with them. I have experienced covert racism, however, but not, not in those.
There are safe white spaces. I hate to say it, but there are certain white people that I think are hip. And growing up, you could tell whose parents are like, oh, I had Black friends in college. Or, you know what I mean? Like they can kind of relate with that for Timmy. And it's cool. And then when you're around people that like, oh yeah, your dad definitely didn't have any Black friends. Like you can tell. Energy is very powerful.
You can definitely tell who has stepped out of their boundaries and made different friends, and those who haven't,
Yeah.
Or had different experiences. So I definitely feel like that's why I said I feel like we're in a different time. Though things aren't perfect, things have evolved. People have opened themselves up to more education and understanding. I feel for her though, because that is horrible. I couldn't imagine experiencing covert racism in my household. But yeah, I'm still not here and adopting Black kids, because again, I think of the horrors I heard about children being in the system and how it is to get kicked out at 18 years old and be alone. And I just,
right.
It's so horrible. I mean, the system in general is horrible. That's why I get pissed off with just this Roe v. Wade shit. Because I'm just like, okay, well, CPS already sucked anyways.
Do you think the government hates Black people and women?
Yes, but honestly, the whole situation is also too, number one, I said this on a previous episode, it's a precedent that the argument for how that case went can break down a lot of other cases, and I feel like that's why it's coming about. I also feel like they want to repopulate workers. I have a whole theory why, but my disagreement with America really with these strict abortion laws is this: the system sucks. Just like I said, CPS has been shit for how many years? You have children growing up in the damn system just to be basically kicked out. And I mean, yeah, they get certain benefits, but still, what kind of life is that? Also, we are the one country who does not mandate required but paid maternity leave. So how in the hell, in a society that's already in a recession, that's struggling, do you expect women to go have a baby, to get pregnant, carry your baby to term for 9 months and take care of this child. Oh, by the way, you got to be off. Of course, you want to be off during that time. Your body needs to heal. You need to bond with your baby, but you're not getting paid that whole time.
Right.
Then formula shortage. So now you got, literally, like, you're just putting women.
You're making a baby a setback. You're guaranteeing that having a baby is a setback for a woman by not. I
won't say it's a setback, especially as a person I had my daughter at 18 years old. I won't say it's a setback, but I will say if I could do it all again, like I told younger women, if I could do it all again, there are certain things I would do different. I don't regret my daughter per se, but I have had to grow up very fast, and I have had to do a lot of things to at least get to where I am now. So it's not like I tell my friends, it's not being a single parent, especially having to go through so many struggles. It's not a life I wish on people. I don't regret it, no, because I love my daughter, and I feel like if I didn't have her, there's certain things I wouldn't have done in life. But it still is a lot. Don't feel like it is fair for the government to put women in that situation and then basically screw you over. Like I said, there was just a case in Florida where a girl was she's 16 and she said, I want to have an abortion. I'm not ready to have a baby. And the court said she is not.
She was not mature enough.
Yeah, she said I'm not, and she's 16 years old, and she's not. And the government is saying that, oh well, she's not mature enough to make the decision to have abortion, but she's mature enough to raise a fucking child. Are you fucking serious? And she's 16. She said she's 16 years old. The dad is not going to help her out. So she's 16. She's trying to push through high school and now raise a child. Think of what you're doing. And think of what you're doing to these kids. These kids don't always need to be born into trauma.
It's scary where the world is going. And there's, I think, a root cause, but we can talk about that on another episode. I definitely feel that there's a reason why the world has deteriorated.
And I know why people would be pro-life. Here's my issue. A lot of people are that baby is born.
But nobody cares once the baby's born. Yeah, no, everybody's pro-life until the baby's born.
When they in the womb, but then all of a sudden when they pop out, oh, welfare mother, you need this, you need that, you want handouts. We're trying to raise fucking kids. Daycare is expensive as hell. There's no damn formula. Again, like I said, maternity leave is not paid. So what are you doing? And we still have high Black maternal mortality rates and high Black infant mortality rates here. So what is the point?
The babies are dying. It's bad.
So literally, who are you protecting here? Plus, my issue is you could make gun regulations to protect our kids who are alive and well. That doesn't make any damn sense.
Right.
Sorry, I get passionate about it.
No, I love it because, like I said, we it's not hard for me to see or identify that all these policies are pointed very specifically at people. The fact that this girl is clearly being responsible and trying to do the right thing for her life and her life plan, and she's being defied by her government is tragic. No one's going to look at that case and be like, yeah, the government's right. Thank God they did that. No reasonable person feels that way.
Sound fucked up as a parent, but I her because she's trying to also protect that baby from being born into a traumatic situation. Not saying that she's going to do this. I think of my child. I think the time I had to spend away from her, struggling, working, going to school, doing whatever.
Yeah.
Really, that wasn't the life I wanted for her. I'm like, thank God thank God things worked out the way they did, and I had a support system. But still, ideally, no, that's not the life I would have wanted. Yeah, you dropping your kid off to the babysitter at the crack of dawn and picking up the damn night. That's not. Again, y'all said this. That's what.
A lot of work. It's a lot of work. You did a lot.
It's a lot of work, and people don't. A lot of people are with the fanatics of having a baby and creating a life and all things like that. And the real deal things and situations and the mental health struggles and the financial struggles come down to it. People ain't addressing that. That's why I hate when people like, "Oh, you're a superwoman."
Right, you are.
Get together. That shit is hard.
It takes time too, and there's so many challenges for a woman in this world. I don't know if it's progress or not, and I don't know if this is a response to the progress that women have made.
Well, I know apparently in my home, Ohio, they're locked, and women are now going to be 2 men for pregnancy.
Wait a minute. Women can sue men if they get them pregnant?
If it was an unplanned, unintended pregnancy, they can sue.
Time out. So let's just say I knock it down Saturday in March. Are you going to sue me the first trimester, or are you going to sue me the following year?
Now, I wouldn't be that petty. Part of me does agree with it because I could go on about this because I
think it's a glimpse at fairness because men are part of it too.
Fairness because, again, I don't think men understand how easy it is for them to walk away. Because my mom used to always teach me, that's mama's baby, but that's daddy's maybe.
Yeah.
So it's, especially like I said, this day and age, not being able to terminate it, you have to go through with it. And, like I said, single parenthood is definitely feasible, but to lay down and create something with somebody who willingly laid down and did this for you, because we all know biologically what can happen with sex. We're not all stupid.
Yeah.
And they just walk away, not do anything. And I hate when people say, well, child support. As a person who knows too good damn well, child support ain't really shit. So we can stop right there. So I think it is like, it could become problematic, but at the same time, there has to be a level of fairness because I do agree as a single mom, that is not fair that someone gets to just walk away.
We got to come to a point of progress. And I mean, women, all the things that we're talking about are challenges. And I think that that's what is going to be at stake over the next decade or two. We're going to really see it.
And definitely, especially in the Black community, we need a lot of accountability. That would definitely help us out. We got to, again, stop supporting shitty ass homeboys and homegirls who don't take their responsibilities. Because I've seen it myself. Not okay. Like I tell you, I'm like, I won't. If I find out I'm kids and he not taking care of his kids, I won't date him. Because that's just that's.
But you don't see that anymore for real. Like
it is much more.
Yeah, like dads are so much better. There are deadbeat dads out there. I have to say that, like, I can't think of them individually right now to know.
I can.
Because I know they're out there, but a lot of us grew up without our fathers and compensate with our kids, and it's beautiful. But there's so many levels to it, and life is important, but we don't really mean that. It's disingenuous. We say it because it's control, and controlling women's bodies is power. And that's what they've been doing at our seat of power. And in this revolution, I said it, ladies, I think that there's a women's revolution going on. I think that they might even have called the Me Too and all that stuff the Cold War as we move and we progress into this heated exchange over women's rights and places and role in this country. And I think that does extend to LGBT community and rights, but we'll talk about that in another episode.
It's a lot. Definitely, Lord, I definitely don't experience too many men. Because, like I said, I just personally, unfortunately, do deal with a deadbeat daddy. But it's life. But like, I know all too well from different angles. Just not having a good father, stepfather, not having my daughter and having to, walk her through this. Like, again, I think there needs to be some accountability, whether it's in the community or whether it is through the law. Child support is not the best accountability in my opinion. I know men have their hang up with that, but hey.
It's a tricky situation, you're right. Because some men feel that there's no need for it. And I think some men are right. Who did I see? Future. Oh God. Future was talking about how he could take care. He's right. He could take care of his kid. But apparently,
fairly, some men don't need it. There are some I do have, which personally, because in general really is not made for the parents per se. It's really made for the government. Because a lot of it is for especially women who would receive benefits. That's the government getting their money back, technically, especially when it comes to healthcare and things like that. But on the same token, we also do have our men who do not pay. And I hate to say it, like for our men who are in the bigger tax bracket, yes, they are typically more. But for the rest of us out here, I can tell you from my experience and some I know, what we get in child probably enough for my damn dog over here. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I mean, when you really break down the cost of what it costs for a child.
Yeah, life is expensive. You spend probably spend over $2 mil for a kid by the time she's 18.
Exactly.
Easily.
That's why like when men argue like, well, that bitch using the child support to pay a light bill. Okay, do you want your kids to grow up in the dark?
Right.
Do you want me to not put gas in my tank to take them to the grocery store or to school?
Yeah.
Those are things that go into taking care of a child. So no, or child support for groceries. Well, yeah, the baby gotta eat.
Right.
So I mean, I get people's point. Yeah, I do agree. Some people child support is screwed over. Some people, however, trust me. Like I said, I know because child, $1,000 in back child support. I got a 9-year-old.
I just appreciate you talking about this with me, because these are, just areas that I think a lot of us find ourselves in life, and it's good to have a real conversation with somebody, because that's how I be feeling, and I think I understand where you feeling at. Are you recording for your show? How's that going? Are you getting some episodes?
Episode actually related to what we just talked about that I do want to record. However, it's kind of a team for me because I have a very personal story that I think would reflect and I think would benefit the show. Share it. But I am just, I probably won't, because I'm doing new pre-recording stuff. I haven't posted anything yet. So.
Okay. And where can people find you at if they want to listen to your show?
So best place, my show streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcast, SH with exclamation point. Sirens. Siren is with a Y. The easiest way to find me is on Instagram with my link tree, which will take you to the links for my podcast. And my podcast is Siren, SYREN, the CHE_stallion. That's the best place to find me.
So Instagram, Siren the _stallion is where you at.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to check her out. Very talented, beautiful mind. I appreciate you taking the time with me. Y'all already know where to find me at on all channels. I'm on everything, social media at Chubby Idris Elba. Until the next episode. Peace.